What happened? Bro, you don't even know, man. Jessica straightened my beard the other day. You should have seen.
Bro,
Did you take a picture of this?
No way. No way.
You straightened my beard and my hair, bro.
Oh, go like this. Let me see.
The struggle.
You measured my beard and my hair.
Yes, just go like this. Look, go like that.
Benny Peralta is joining.
Did you take a picture of this?
No way.
Oh wait, I gotta.
No way.
Straighten my beard.
I hear delays, darling. Delays.
No, that's because I put the. So let's begin. Let's begin. Benny's coming in. Eventually, I tapped him in. There he is. Welcome to the show. Yes. Welcome to week whatever the hell we're in right now. Yeah. To whatever box you're looking at, you got Craze in the building. That's the hookah guy smoking his hookah. Down below, we got Jaylah.
What's up? What up, though?
And Benny is back. The real is back. Benny Banks is back. How you guys doing, man?
Benny, you look slightly different. I know we haven't seen you in a couple weeks, but you look slightly different.
Before we went live on YouTube, Benny didn't have a shirt on, and he showed us his pecs.
His muscular
pecs.
And he's looking like Crazy. Who's he looking like with no shirt on?
Like a Dominican Adonis.
Benny's health game is serious.
Yo, I've been.
The show is produced by Trees Productions. What you said?
I've been eating mad protein and greens, bro.
Them greens.
Them greens, huh? So anybody that's hold on, let me switch to the live.
See, Benny's over there getting cut, and the only thing I'm getting is more cuts in between my cheeks.
On YouTube. So if you clicked on the link in our bio, go to the YouTube page, it will be live. Dímelo, MM Rick.
Hey, MM Rick, big homie. Yo, you gotta shout out our director,
Trees Productions in the cut.
Back off, but he's in the building. You got CJ. Yeah. Our photographer,
Clarence, right?
All I see is green eyes, y'all.
I'm going by CJ from now on.
Yo, and H, who's our guest tonight?
Keep it simple.
Our guest tonight is UFC Flyweight Contender Jessica Evil Eye. She's ranked #1 in the UFC Flyweight rankings. She just fought for the title last year. Her last fight was in December. She fought Vivian Araújo. It's a Brazilian last name, so if I butchered it, I'm sorry.
I got some questions. We got Mike Piazza in the building.
Mike Piazza is in the building. We got a Hall of Fame baseball player and a UFC fighter that will be in the building. Isn't that insane?
Yo, what about your quarantine? We haven't really talked. I feel like this week went by mad quick, bro.
We haven't. How's your quarantine going, Craze?
It was cool. You know, it was like a little sad on Sunday. It was Mother's Day. I didn't really get to see my mom, but the rest of the week was chill. I feel like I've been going strong. This is only my second hookah in the last 2 weeks, so progress.
Is he saying the truth, Benny?
I was smoking hookah on Sunday, right, Benny?
Yeah. Yo, congratulations, man. You got to cut back with the hookah, man.
Yo, Benny's my inspiration.
But he did cut his beard though, which threw me off.
It's coming back. How was your mother? Jaylah, happy belated Mother's Day. We wish
belated Mother's Day. Happy congrats on the launch of the podcast.
Yo,
thank you.
I'm ready.
What happened?
I said I'm ready for that podcast.
I'm excited. It's been going well. We did the launch on Mother's Day. For me, it was a bittersweet Mother's Day because my daughter and my mom are both in Florida. So I kind of spent it here. but I had a good Mother's Day. I mean, it was very chill, very low key, the best thing I could do. And then yesterday I spent kind of like watching Disney movies on FaceTime with my daughter. So we just sat there for a couple hours and watched a couple movies, watched Snow White and Alice in Wonderland, and just kind of working still on everything.
Who's on your Disney Plus shit?
I, as you can tell, I have Mickey over there last time. I have here. My daughter's dressed like a princess.
Hey.
Oh, so your daughter's featured guest this week on the podcast, along
No.
with Piazza.
Yeah, my daughter's our guest.
So we haven't heard a lot from Benny. So Benny, what's going on, man? You've
What's
been away for
poppin'?
a couple weeks.
Yeah, it's been a couple weeks, bro. I've been just doing my thing, bro. I go for walks, I go for runs, I take my bike rides.
This is the most active.
Like 200 push-ups. I just started doing 100 squats a day. So
Nigga was bird hunting the other day too.
Bird hunting.
Tell him about our bird situation, bro.
Oh shit, a bird snuck into my room.
Oh!
A little bird.
Baby bird.
A baby bird snuck into my room, and the dude was living here for like 2 days, I think. 'Cause I kept hearing him. Like, I thought he was outside, and I was like, yo, this motherfucker won't shut up. And then I found him.
You didn't feed the bird?
Grace put him in a box, and we took him outside, but I don't know if he could fly.
I don't think
he could fly yet. So we
poor bird.
he threw him out the window, but I don't know if he flew. I don't know what happened.
Yo, is it the ASPCA? Is it that's who's gonna come knocking at the?
Did you just kind
And
of
you
threw him
guys
out
live
the
on the-
window? And
I don't know. Maybe he learned how to fly.
Listen.
You had to fly or what is it? Flight or die or whatever.
fight or flight.
Yeah.
Came in through a window. You feel
Yeah.
me? Some way, somehow. So I just put him in a box and placed him outside on the window. I don't know what happened to him after that.
That sounds
Benny
a little
just
bit more
said-
reasonable.
That story just changed because Benny just said he threw the bird out the window.
Right.
No, he didn't. He placed him out the window, but what happened after that?
But we on the 7th floor, so I don't know. What happened.
Well, she just texted me. She'll be 5 minutes late, but that's
Okay.
fine. That's fine. We get to continue our little. So we're still talking to Benny. We want to know how Benny got super brolic in 3 weeks.
Oh shit! Y'all want to know?
And you look refreshed, by the way. Your eyes you look like you got some sleep finally.
Oh shit! Hell yeah! So let me tell y'all.
Oh,
Let me show y'all what I got here, bro. I got my green. This right here. This is the green powder right here. You gotta drink this every day, one time. This is 2 servings of vegetables, bro.
Oh my god!
I got my one a day.
ooh.
And then you got to keep your skin popping. So I got a bunch of masks for my face. And I got a cream for the day, right? I got a face moisturizer for your neck because you got to keep your neck tight too, bro.
Right.
You
That's
don't
actually
wanna
very
look-
important.
I got one for the face and neck, right? That's the morning time. And then I
Okay.
got a night one right here. This is for the nighttime before you go to bed. You moisturize. All right.
So
Then I got my
oh, there's more.
these are my pills. These are the steroid pills right here. Oh wait, hold on.
There it is.
Then I got right here. Then I got this
Flaxseed?
flaxseed. This is
Oh.
a superfood. Take one of those, like 3 of those every day.
So he deadass stopped eating food and just is taking supplements and rubbing
No,
lotion and
I
wearing
should
masks.
eat steaks or I eat steaks and eggs almost every day. And I
Okay.
ate salmon yesterday with broccoli. Mad broccoli.
I love
I
that.
got another moisturizer right here. I got moisturizers for days, bro. You got to keep your face moisturized, bro.
Okay.
wrong, bro. I'm not moisturizing, my nigga.
You gotta moisturize,
You
bro.
have to moisturize, especially right now. You're in quarantine.
Rick, you
You
moisturize?
got a bunch of face
Absolutely not.
cleaners in the bathroom. I'm not gonna show
The
you that.
boy has ashy elbows, ashy legs. I've never really been into the lotion game, you know.
Well, I shower with Irish Spring bar soap.
Oh, that dries you up like crazy.
After this is over, I'm gonna shave and I'm gonna put a mask on for the nighttime. You gotta keep your skin popping,
Benny's
bro.
been doing the treat
You
yourself.
gotta do it.
Yo, Benny's the self-care king. You understand? He got a whole segment on his OnlyFans about that.
Yeah, I gotta do it, bro. I'm gonna
Your
cut him up with
OnlyFans.
my own products.
So do you do your night skincare routine with your masks and your shirt off on your OnlyFans? Is this
Benny's gonna
Of
start
course.
promoting his own face mask.
Right. I have
make
to
sure
do
you
it
include the neck
shirtless.
though. Make sure you include the neck so you keep it tight and rejuvenating.
You gotta include the neck when you moisturize. 'Cause you gotta
Wow.
keep that tight right there.
Benny's charcoal neck masks.
Oh, I also got this shit right here. I don't know if it works, but this shit is either OD trash or OD like fire. It's this mouth thing that you bite on it.
Oh, the whitening? No, what's that?
It's supposed to like.
Oh, to
Strengthen your
exercise your
jaw.
jaw?
Good God. So you bought all of this on Amazon, didn't you?
Dude, I'd be mad bored in my house.
Always on the go. This nigga's the most fucking active quarantine nigga ever, bro.
Wow.
He's good, bro. That's why he's.
I gotta make moves.
Yo, what y'all been?
I just want to say one thing before anything. I wanted to say happy belated Mother's Day to all the mothers that are out there. That's the first thing. I want to say happy birthday to Ethan. He turned 1 this past weekend. That's my boy Enrique and Susie's son.
Yay.
And I want to say rest in peace to Tibi from Latinos Out Loud, who passed
Oh.
away.
Passed away, bro?
Yeah, it was crazy. Like it happened out of nowhere. So our thoughts and prayers are with him, his family, and the Latinos Out Loud crew, and anybody that worked with him in the past. He actually was also friends with my boy Jonathan. They went to Cardinal Hayes together. So that was crazy. So if you guys got any shout outs or any happy birthdays or any of that. I mean, Jayla just launched her show, Mommy's and Mimosa.
Mamas and mimosas.
I mean, I feel like this week was like to me, seemed like a really short week. I don't know.
Last week, right?
Yeah, this past week.
Mother's Day, bro.
What?
We went to my aunt's house, and my grandmother and my aunts were there, so we just celebrated, bro. We drank. It felt like old times for once, but that was really fun. I was happy to see my family finally.
I think you got to keep yourself in a good mental space. I haven't seen my family like in person, but I do practices to keep myself mentally healthy. I mean, good news is New York is going to be reopened up in 4 phases. They're going to start phase 1 on May 15th. But I don't think that this is going to help out.
I think it's ridiculous that they're even opening up. I mean, my mom, like in Florida, everything's open again. The salons are back open, and I mean,
I have to go to Florida to get a shape up.
Yeah, they have protocols, and they're strict protocols. But my friend's barbershop, he opened already. My mom is going back to work at the salon. Like things are kind of getting back to normal. It's a little scary, I think, personally. It kind of freaks me out, to be honest, because now I feel like I chose the wrong time to go visit. And I'm flying out there next week to go see my daughter. I'm not gonna lie, like
But she's here with us. Why are you gonna go see her? She's right next to you, right there.
And I go, when I first showed this to her, and I quote, she goes, "I hate it." And I'm like, "Why?" I'm like, "It's you." And she goes, "It's not me, mommy."
No, there's only one of her.
So she's very clear on not about being this pillow life. I was like, "Well, I can't wait to hug you both." She goes, "You better not bring that with you."
Are you taking it to Florida?
Hell yeah, I'm taking it to Florida. It's my job as a parent.
Wow.
That's what the whole thing was for, right, Bella?
No.
Craze is in deep space right now.
You know,
Welcome to the mind of Craze Boogie.
you know, I've been going insane here. The crazy thing is, bro, is that here, even though we haven't really opened up all the way, I feel like low key up, at least up here, uptown, shit is popping already again. Like
He ain't lying.
yo, earlier I went to get
Right.
actually the COVID test. I had made an appointment. It was this morning at 11. So I went. That shit hurts, bro. They put a like, you know, like those long ass Q-tips.
Yeah.
And they put it all the way in your nose, bro. I feel like that shit was touching my eyeball.
Because it has to go past this cavity right here.
What did it
have to straight from the back.
That shit hurt. And so
They take that shit from your brain?
Huh?
They take that shit from your brain?
Your brain, bro, back there.
Not in your brain, but almost there. Practically there.
Make a left turn, y ahí está.
Yeah.
Yo, the point is that when I drove past them, and all the shop, everything's open, bro. People out and about. Everybody's lined up, waiting to. Like, it's crazy out here.
Only in the Bronx.
In the Heights too.
No, that's St. Nicholas.
It's the same.
I went to leave a letter for my mom for Mother's Day. A couple days, obviously, before Mother's Day, and literally the viejitos were sitting there with their masks on their neck, smoking cigarettes, like everybody, like, and it was like 4 or 5 of them together, like chismoseando, like.
But I have a theory about old country people. I feel like old country people that come from like land countries or any other that, you know, they got a great immune system and it don't really affect them.
That's
because
true.
look at the crackheads on 125th, first of all.
Yeah, that's true.
They're alive and well.
It's true. People build like an immunity to things, bro. I feel like my grandma, bro.
My grandma got it and she got sick and she's good. And she's about to be 90.
That's what I'm saying, bro. My grandma was sick too. My grandma, bro, God bless them, because your grandma, Nana's 90.
Nana sneezed and it was gone. Like, oh shit, that was Corona?
In theory, bro, because people don't really know that. I feel like Nana don't really. When you was born in like 1912, people.
She was born in 1930, a year after the Great Depression.
There you go.
That's a good year.
My grandma's like 94-ish. I don't know. They say some shit like that.
And she's good. Oh, the evil eye is about to enter the room right now. I just admitted her. Benny, do not take off your shirt. Welcome to the show. Jessica is connecting her audio.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
We're all live on YouTube. Everybody want to introduce yourselves before we get this started?
What's up? I'm Craze.
Luisito.
Assistant to the manager, Rick H.
I'm sorry, what?
I'm the assistant manager.
Oh, hell yeah. That's
you're
awesome.
assistant to the manager. Assistant to the manager. Assistant manager.
That's awesome.
We also have Jayla and my brother Benny on the other side, and Mike Piazza right behind Craze. Welcome to the show,
guys.
Jessica.
Thank you for having me.
How's your quarantine going so far?
It's kind of its good days. It has its bad days, you know, but all in all, I'm very fortunate. I have a very awesome living situation. I have a little gym in my garage. So it's like, I'm still getting to do my job a little bit.
So for an MMA fighter, it must be, if they have like the home gym, it must be perfect, because when you're in camp 6 to 8 weeks, basically just train.
Yeah, that's pretty much it, right? Like, it's literally, this is like what quarantine is like what a fighter's training camp pretty much is. You don't go out, you don't drink, you don't really do much outside of like just your sport and not really eating. The eating has definitely been the challenge, right? Like we're always used to like eating at home, and then you like get bored of eating at home, so then you just start ordering in, and that was definitely one of the challenges.
What's your favorite order in? Ooh.
Boba.
Woo!
Yeah.
Where you
Boba, I have the boba and katsu are definitely my favorite.
Where are you at that you have access to boba?
In Vegas.
Well, I'm in Las Vegas, so I'm originally from Cleveland. So yeah, I live in Vegas. So food, every kind of food is here. So I'm like in like the food mecca.
Oh man, I love Vegas.
I've never in my life been to Vegas. My brother was supposed to go with me on my bachelor party to Vegas. We never got there. We went to AC instead. So we'll just move on.
You've never been to Las Vegas ever?
Never in my life.
How old are you?
30, 35.
Oh my God. Well, then I feel like you need to make a trip. Considering we don't know if we're going to live through another one of these freaking pandemics, you better hurry up and get your
I always wanted to
your
go to
vacation
Vegas
plans.
and catch a fight. That's the reason why. And we were supposed to go and watch the Holloway Aldo fight that took place around that same time. We ended up watching it on the TV. So
Right.
So who's Jessica I from Ohio, from Cleveland, Ohio, MMA fighter. But besides that, give us a little bit of your story.
Well, we don't have enough time for that. So just in this short end, I relocated to Las Vegas a year ago to fight for the UFC Flyweight title.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, I got knocked out and it didn't go as planned. But we've then since won again, and I'm just kind of a Midwest kind of girl that just is used to working hard at most things that I do, and coming to Las Vegas felt like a huge step in my life, and coming here and training at the UFCPI feels like I'm finally truly getting to live out my dream as a professional athlete.
Mm-hmm.
Compared to just in the Midwest, I just felt like that wasn't happening for me.
So you went from Strong Style, which is the fight camp that you were from, and now you're at Xtreme Couture / the UFC PI.
The UFCPI, yeah, correct.
Which is amazing from what every fighter talks about every time they take a visit to the PI Center. And now you're training with Gray Maynard. What do you think? What improvements have you seen in your game since moving? I mean, you've only been with this camp for 2 fights.
Correct.
But there must be some things that you see more sharp, or a certain skill set that has elevated a little bit.
Yeah, I think I'm still sorting all that out. I think that, when moving for the title fight, I moved and did everything a little prematurely and didn't get a chance to get to know the guys, or even just get to know Las Vegas, or even my life here before I just like took on such a big responsibility, as well as learning whether or not, Gray is a friend of mine, and, he's a mentor, and I'm so fortunate I got to work with him and to learn a little bit, and there's so many people out in Las Vegas. And I think that one of the things that I did in Ohio was that I didn't get a chance to learn from multiple kinds of people, and it kind of narrowed my mindset. Whereas in Las Vegas, that's not the mindset out here. So Eric Nixick has allowed me to train with new people, and I'm allowed to bring in new people all the time to work with, to work with me, So I don't know. I think we saw in my last fight, my striking was extremely accurate, and we got to see what a healthy back looks like for me compared to some of my other fights.
So in your last fight, from what I saw, because Joe Rogan and DC were doing the commentating, and they were saying, oh, it's kind of a close fight. But what I saw in the round 1 was great striking, great ground defense from you. You worked the body in the second round a lot, and you were using that left inside kick a lot, and you chewed up her leg. So when I was watching the fight, I already thought that you were going to win that fight after the first 2 rounds. And then in the third round, it was just more of you pacing yourself a little bit, working the body again, and using the overhand right. You're one of my favorite fighters to watch, actually, because of the style of fighting that you're very aggressive. You take your shots and you don't hold back. So
Yeah.
it was a good fight. I was actually watching the last fight, but
Well, yeah, considering the winner of that would have gotten the next title shot, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, you know, it's just, you know, it's a crazy situation, you know, how it's all worked out. So, I was offered a fight after that, to JoJo, but I had to have elbow surgery, so, I couldn't take the fight in March, which now JoJo's fighting Valentina for the title. So, I'm hoping I get the winner of that one.
I mean, it would make sense because MMA math, you beat Caitlin.
I've beaten all of them. I've beaten all. I mean, unless they want me to fight JoJo, you know. But if she loses, I don't see the reason. You know, maybe if I lose to Valentina twice, I definitely think that there might have to be some renegotiating. But I don't think that that's gonna happen. I was dealing with a lot going into the first fight, so I don't. I feel like it just allows me to take all the pressure off me going into the second fight, because most people aren't gonna believe in me anyways.
So going into that fight, you were actually the underdog by a lot.
Mhm.
And I thought that was a little foolish of Vegas because you're kind of aggressive. And I don't think Valentina's faced someone that's like in your face constantly.
Mhm.
She likes to have her distance and take her shots from the outside. But the second fight, so is that what you're aiming for now?
Yeah, I mean, well, what else am I gonna do? You know what I mean? There's a million other ways to make money, and using my body as a way to make money, you know, it becomes a business decision. So before I just go out there and, you know, not fight for the title, like it has to be a calculated business decision.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like, and as well as fighting Valentina again, like that's of course what I want. I failed the first time and I want to show why I failed and, you know, make it right for myself.
So
Now,
with everything, I'm sorry, Rick.
go ahead, Jill.
For me, obviously, I know that training and all that takes a lot. Um, but I also know that, you know, you just mentioned the elbow surgery. You also mentioned your back. Um, how do you kind of like you said, it's still your business, it's still your life, like, you know what I mean, you made these great sacrifices, you made those moves, like how do you kind of like get past that and not have that fear of like, you know, hurting your body more?
Well, it's, you know, it's there every day. I mean, it happens in training. You know what I mean? I just left. I was running a couple of minutes late because I just left. My massage therapist like had her working on my elbow. You know, it happens all the time. You know, and it's not, and it wasn't the elbow I had surgery on, which is even crazier. It's the other one. It's just a part of the sport, and I think that everyone looks as like professional athletes, basketball players, football players, baseball players, and you know, MMA fighters like, you know, they only see the positive side of everything, you know, like, oh, well, they're famous and they have money, but like they don't understand the amount of sacrifice that we really go through. And, you know, I'm 33 and I'm a female, and, you know, the female body isn't meant for that. Not alone, even a male body is meant for it. So, you know, long term, like I want to live the rest of my life and not feel like I'm broken physically. So, you know, I put stipulations on myself. You know, I'm only going to fight for 3 more years, and I want to make sure they're fights that are accurately placed and their business decision, you know, based, and where they're going to make me more money, they're going to make me look better, and I can utilize my body properly.
Hey, a question that I had, you mentioned about being a woman in this kind of like really physical sport. You know, what's the culture around that, do you think? Like, I mean, like I feel like it's not really, it's a new thing, right? In terms of like women within this kind of environment.
Not really. Not really. Not now. You know what I mean? I've been in this sport for, you know, 13 going on 14 years. 14 years ago it was. You know what I mean? But where we're at now, you know what I mean? Like I make more money than some of the top 5 men in this sport. You know what I'm saying? Like, so like you know, your value is way different. But I think that the beginning years, but I still do think that, you know, like, you know, Ronda made female MMA, you know, mainstream. So we're fortunate for that. So we now have a platform. So thankful in that way. So no, I don't think that there's any challenges. You know, I think that unfortunately, considering my background and abuse background, like I don't like going with some of the guys. Like there's some guys that don't like going with girls, So that being said, yeah, there's always going to be that barrier between, the male female, competitive nature, as well as like that male female strength set. So I like working out with the guys. I like doing stuff with them, but I also like working out with the females.
So you mentioned Ronda. She made it mainstream and brought a lot of casual eyes to MMA. Sort of the same thing that Connor did as well. You never got to fight Ronda, but they paired you up with Misha. How would you feel you would have fared with Ronda?
Well, so again, I was paid to be on deck for Ronda versus Kat Zingano, and I was to get the winner of that. And then me and Ronda were supposed to fight. And when Anderson Silva popped for steroids, the UFC needed a main event for Brazil. Mm-hmm. So they were like, hey, we're going to put her against Betch Correia. We'll put you against Misha. We'll give you more money. We'll give you a new contract. And we'll go from there. So it was a win-win situation. They're like, well, you go beat Misha. And in my mind, if I went and beat Misha, I was one of the best contenders at 135. So and I still believe that Misha knocked me down, and that was a great fight. Like there's a difference in my opinion with fighting. Like if you get your ass beat, you can't come back from an ass beating, but a knockout or a knockdown makes a hell of a difference in this sport. You can catch someone in like the most perfect spot, at times. So it's like, those are very monumental fights in my life. So if I had had the chance, I would have absolutely loved to fight Ronda. Who wouldn't have? You know what I mean? I'd love to be a part of history in that way. And of someone who did something so big for our sport.
How do you think you would have done Ronda?
I would think I would have done just like I did against every 135er I went up against in the division. You know what I mean? Like I would have been a knockdown, drag out war. It would have been 3 rounds of a split decision. Like I took all the other girls at bantamweight, and I'm not a bantamweight. I shouldn't. Like I'm small for a bantamweight. You know what I mean? I'm big for a flyweight. That's why I'm in the division I am, and why I fought for as many years as I did. The reason I came to the UFC was because Bellator got rid of their flyweight division, or I would have never came up. Fighting a bantamweight was never like, the goal. So my larger than life personality is what made me want to contend with them and at least work hard. You know what I mean? I still never one of those girls, beat my ass or even made me bloody, so I think that I was doing something right.
You're fighting 10 pounds above your actual fight weight. Now there's a flyweight division, thank God. And you went into a really great groove as soon as they opened up the division. And that division got deep immediately because there was a bunch of women that were fighting at 135 that weren't 135ers. Even the current champion, Valentina, she's an actual 125er. So what's the difference between fighting at 135 and 125?
Speed, true opponents. You know what I mean? Like some of these girls, like shortly after fighting Misha, we did a submission underground with Chael Sonnen.
Yeah.
And a week after the fight, she had fought Raquel Pennington and lost to Raquel. She weighed a week after the fight 158, and I was 144 with all my clothes on. Like there was a noticeable size difference, like where I'm at in my walk around weight compared to where she was, like even post fight, like she fought 35 and a week later you're 158. You know what I mean? Like that's a big weight advantage. Like I don't walk around at 158. Like I have to really eat a lot of boba to get that heavy. So yeah, I just don't walk that heavy. Me walking around at 152 is like, man, Jess, you better chill. Like, and that's even me like not feeling good. Like I don't feel good at 150. I feel better at 140 walking around and competing at 125. I just feel more like me.
All right. So take us through the process, because a lot of fans don't know that it's hard work training for one fight. It's 6 to 8 weeks in camp, and then you have to cut weight during fight week. What's that like?
it's crazy because every time it's different. You know what I mean? Like my last fight, I missed weight. You know, like I got my period. I didn't want to cut the weight. I was too worried about sacrificing the fight from happening, and we had miscalculated water. Like it's literally a calculation. Like that's how we all make weight. That's how a lot of MMA fighters make weight. It's a calculation through food, everyday nutrition preparation, down to water intake, down to supplement, you know, coverage. Like it's a lot, you know what I mean? It's a lot of sacrifice that goes into all of that. So
Do you find it easier to make weight down at 125?
Yeah,
I mean,
no,
you had
I
never missed
definitely
weight
do.
before.
No. That was, yeah. And listen, I'm not gonna let people tell me who I am because I missed weight one time. When I know who I am, a mistake was made on my behalf. I don't have to explain it to a million people that don't truly understand it.
Yeah.
But I made a bad mistake. You know what I mean? And unfortunately, I'm a female. And everybody I would hope had a mother at one point that, you know, made them recognize what they're talking about, or understanding that it's out of my control. And we as female fighters in the UFC, we communicate with them regularly, the UFC PI, and to plan so some of these things don't happen. But that being said, that was the only time I've ever missed weight and ever had a really true problem with cutting to 25. No, it's not easy. You know what I mean? Those last couple pounds are vicious, but I know that it makes me a little hungrier for the fight, and it makes me, you know, want it a little more.
So on Instagram, we put up a post. There was a ton of questions they wanted to ask you. One of the questions is, what's your post-fight diet like?
I'm usually pretty good, but I usually like to booze it up. You know, I definitely like my beers. You know what I mean? Like, I definitely like, I like to indulge, but then like, I don't like to lose my momentum. I don't like to lose that feeling of like, I'm falling too far behind on weight. Quarantine kind of screwed me up a little bit more than post fight, which was crazy. Because I felt like I was on vacation for a minute, and that was like weird. I felt like nobody was getting ahead, so it was like it was reasonable to just like kind of slack off a little bit. But I don't know, man. I love boba. I like luxuries of life. I like to not eat bad, and then I like to eat clean so that I enjoy eating bad, you know? And I think that that's like a general principle most people could use in life.
Yo, I'm the opposite. I just eat bad all the time. And once in a while,
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Break and let me
you're like a coronavirus breeding ground. They're like, yes, you don't take care of yourself.
Bro, I love eating bad. I love it.
No, I'm with you, but that's why I eat. I love eating bad. So that's why I eat so clean. So that when I do it.
Especially in Vegas, oh my God, the buffets. They got Raising.
I don't know. They might not ever have one again. So they might not have buffets anymore.
Oh man.
Yo, Raising Cane's
different now.
Chicken strips from Raising Cane's. That's the only one that I know.
Chicken Shack is better. They have better chicken fingers.
There you
Way
go.
Better.
That's all Craze wanted to ask you, by the way. He was gearing up.
There's some amazing food spots out here though.
So I got a question. Instagram user Squills, shout out to Squilly and Squills. He wants to know about your romantic life. Are you in a relationship?
Of course.
No, I'm not in a relationship. It's challenging to date in this day and age, right?
That was gonna be my question. Like, how hard is it to date?
I don't do well with the dating app thing. Like, I can't look at a picture and be like, yep, you're the one I want to date. Like, I just can't. I can't do that. Like, I pick out a t-shirt. You know what I mean? Like,
the second part to his question was, if you, how does like profession, you being a fighter, like, do you usually date in the fighting world? Do you kind of like, you don't mix those two things?
I think I did. I mean, I have before. So I've done both. That's like a tricky question. You'd think I'd learned the first time I dated a fellow fighter that it didn't work out, that I was like, all right, this won't work out, but it hasn't. So,
But
I think now as an adult, like, no, like I would love to have someone that doesn't have anything to do with, but understands it. You know what I mean? And someone that like at least like cared about fitness and cared about the things that I do, but they don't have to be a fighter. Like they don't have
Crazy.
to do that.
It can't be you. You're not into fitness.
Yo, but
Sorry, Craze.
my man Squills, maybe Squills. I don't know. He's the one that asked me. I don't know.
So we just recently got a gift from the UFC this weekend. We actually got to see some fights.
Yeah.
What do you think about a card being put on with no fans?
I mean, I think it's cool. I think it's cool. I'm glad to see them. Like, I mean, that's a fighter in its natural state. You know what I mean? Like us fighters, like we train and we do everything without an audience. So if you remove the audience, it's just, you know, another day at the office, just, you know, one you get paid for physically, you know? So I would love to be one of those people that got to fight in an empty arena. It would be awesome. It would be so awesome.
Healed from the surgery and ready to go. Just waiting for that
I
call.
was offered to fight in Florida on a 2-week notice. I just, you know, 2-week notices doesn't it just didn't get me out of bed. Wasn't worth it.
And if they offered you something at 135, would you move to fight?
No, I mean, unless it's anybody outside of Valentina, it just doesn't make sense.
Okay.
Anybody outside of Valentina or somebody that I get to fight and the winner of us gets Valentina. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like I still have the most wins in the division. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a champ. And I went and I won one and had again. And I lost to Viviani. You know, Viviani be getting the title shot. You know, I'm willing to wait. I'm a patient person. I have a couple other grappling matches coming up in June that are being scheduled, like a submission underground and a fight to win. So I'm fine with waiting till those two fight.
And as a fan, because I know you watch the sport, who are some of the fighters that you like to watch that you feel always give you a good show?
I mean, well, Justin Gaethje was awesome.
He was. I did not expect that at all. I thought Tony was gonna beat Tony, and it just looked completely different.
Yeah. Obviously Bryce Mitchell's good. You know what I mean? He does some crazy stuff. And he's fun to watch. I like let's see. I like watching myself. And I don't know if I sound vain, but I like seeing myself in that setting because it's cool to see myself that way. I'm a fan of Randa Marcos. She's a good friend of mine.
She's a good fighter. And who in the flyweight division do you see? Because this is deep now. There's like a lot of young girls. I know Macy Barber. What's the other one's name? Oh boy, now I'm blanking out. Roxanne Modafferi's in the division as well.
Yeah, but Roxanne's an OG, and that was one of the people I was saying, unless it's Roxanne next, it wouldn't make sense to not wait for somebody else in the division, right? Because I already beat Caitlin. Jennifer Maya's moving up. You know what I mean? Like it should be either me and Roxanne, and the winner of me and Roxanne gets the winner of Valentina and JoJo.
I think MMA math dictates that you should get a second crack at it. Only because I feel we didn't get to see the actual fight.
Yeah, no, and you didn't get to see the best version of me. And it's always talk is cheap, right? Like until I'm given another chance. And again, I'll earn it. And that's where we've kind of been from, right? They put me up against number 9. So I guess that they were kind of see what they were dealing with, right? So to move on from there, I'm ready. I'm ready to get a healthy chance at the title.
And besides, once this MMA career is wrapped up, do you have other hobbies or careers that you would like to indulge in?
Yeah, I mean, I do, you know what I mean? But like, I'm a kind of like focus on the task at hand kind of gal. So like, I do have other like, I don't know, like things that could work out and seem to be getting ready to work out for me, like a couple book deals and some, movie stuff and TV stuff, getting in the entertainment industry a little bit more. But I haven't finished this yet, so it's hard to look too far ahead. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard to look too far ahead of anything else besides getting the title. You know what I mean? The title is for everyone else to see me get, but I need that for me. I need that to put a good ending to my career for myself.
Would you also consider, I know DC's considering this, Kane did it, Rock has done it, Ronda's done it, switch over to like a WWE entertainment type of business where it's
money
physical.
talks. Money talks. I mean, come on now, money talks. So like, if they come to me and they're like, hey, Jess, like, we want to make Evil Eye, a true character within the WWE world, then yeah, that's a great idea. I can't wait. I can't wait for it. But if not, you know what I mean? It is, it is what it is.
If you could pick what that character would be, like, you know what I mean? Like, more into detail, more into like, if you had the soul, creativity, and freedom to do it, what would you do?
I think it would be kind of like my true personality, and it's kind of like the evil in me, right? Like the nice person, and that helps everyone, that cooks everyone's food, but then like the person that steps kind of in the ring is just evil. You know what I mean? And just like is evil. You know what I mean? So like I would like to have that dichotomy, almost that dual personality that was able to be that way.
That'd be dope. I'd watch that. What when you talked about the like they wouldn't want to incorporate that, how does that work? So like in terms of like your brand is the Evil Eye brand, right? Does that belong?
Well, it's evil. It's technically evil. I guess Evil Eye. Everyone's kind of called me that, but Eye's really my last name. You know what I mean? So like that's when we started like, giving them like the eyebrow and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Everybody always says that I do that.
And is that brand like something that you would? I'm just trying to wonder like what's the business behind that kind of stuff. So do you own that brand? Is that something that you can market and you own?
So yeah, I mean there is. So like I have my own like clothing line that I've done a lot with, and just due to quarantine and stuff like that, like things have kind of taken a step back. But my whole tagline is I believe, right? And I believe goes like, it's my trademark, it's my mission statement, it's my slogan. It's, kind of all of the above. So it's like, I believe it's supposed to be a sense of, self-approval, you know what I mean? Like, so like, the Evil Eye and the I believe like are supposed to be my two, so to speak, gimmicks.
Got you. And so is that so you do have like merchandising stuff that you want to do with?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh no, I actually like, I again have been in just a very big transitional stage of my life, right? Like, and everything, moving to Vegas, changing up management, going to like an agent, for certain things that like is completely out of the fight industry. So there's a lot of things that I've done a lot different. I'm just like waiting for everything to kind of come together. That makes sense. And they are. I mean, outside of quarantine getting ready to happen, I think everybody was getting ready to like start off the beginning of the year and do big things. And then all of a sudden, like, boom, this all happened.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah. Like, we're all in the same boat, right? Like, I feel like everyone is, and everyone, like, everyone's literally going through this together. So like, again, yes, my merchandising and stuff like that, there's going to be a big wave coming.
What are your post quarantine plans? What's the first thing you want to do when the coast is clear and you're ready to go?
Oh my God. Well, the biggest thing is just being able to go back to the UFC PI and sit in a fucking sauna in a hot tub, like inside, and like steam room it up and stuff like that. Like, that's one of my biggest ones. But like, I think that the second biggest thing is like getting to just feel like I'm not stuck in the house. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even know where I'll go first, but just the feeling of not feeling like I have to be inside and everybody is like I'm not supposed to be out. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to feel like a sense of insecurity when I walk outside the house.
Oh,
So,
what's your training routine in the
He wants to know. He's
in the quarantine?
Yeah, what's your training routine?
Well, I have to get off here in a few minutes because one of my training we have practice at 6, but like you have to stay successful and stay regimented during such an unregimented time and such a scary time. So since I got my mats delivered about a month ago, I try to make 2 a days. I mean, what else is there to do? I just sit in the house, like waste my own time. You know what I mean? Like sit there and eat, smoke. You know what I mean? Like not do things with my life. Like I can eat, smoke, and go outside and work really hard and enjoy my life. So it's like I honestly like I truly do enjoy that part of being able to be at home. So like I've gotten to handle all of my training. I miss my strength coach. I miss the treatment I got at the PI.
So we have a segment called 3-2-1, which is 3 things that you've been watching or listening to. What's the other 2, Craze?
3 things. 2 things you've been reading or listening to, and 1 thing that you've been doing as like
in a healthy mental space.
Music is my everything. Yeah, right. Like music is my everything. So like I'm like I go all over the place. Like I am Bob Marley to the Beach Boys to Ariana Grande to Mac Miller to The Game to Travis Scott. Like those, it just depends on my mood. I guess, and everything. You know what I mean? Like so those are, it just depends. But those are all my workout songs. Those are my workout playlist.
And what's 1 thing you do to keep yourself in a good mental space during the quarantine?
Sleep. Because you don't have to do anything. You just sleep. You ain't pissing anybody off. Nobody's pissing you off. Just go in your room, and sleep.
Absolutely. That's my favorite thing to do too.
I love napping. Are you kidding? One of my favorite things in the world to do is nap. Like if someone's like, we're gonna eat and then nap, I'm like, oh my God, that sounds like so much fun. Well, eat, smoke, and nap, I should say, because those are like the 3 favorite things that I like to do outside of MMA. So I'm like balls to the wall and then like extremely down.
Lay back and chill.
100%.
Yo, but touching on what the first thing that you would do when you leave quarantine, if I was in Vegas, the first things that I would do is go to the shooting range or go to the Silverton Casino where they have that mermaid tank.
Yeah.
Then I would go to the 7 Magic Mountains, those fucking rocks in the middle of the desert, just so I could see open space. Just so I could see that big open.
Yeah, but everybody's at the open spaces. Like everybody's everybody's hiking. Everybody's doing all the outdoor stuff. I mean, they've been doing that. That has not stopped.
It's
but
different.
like again, yeah, my friends are in town, so we're gonna take their son. He's never been down to the strip, so this is like the perfect time to actually walk the strip without, all the half naked people or the bums or any of that. So it's like a cool time to see the strip.
Does it feel like we see pictures or obviously you hear that it's like, Times Square is like ghost town and stuff like that.
Oh, it's ghost town in Vegas. It's absolutely ghost town.
Is it
crazy.
creepy?
Yeah, it is. It looks kind of crazy. Like Fremont being all boarded up is crazy.
So we're going to
play
play
a war zone.
A little game with you, Jessica. It's called Cards Against Jessica, which is a little playoff, Cards Against Humanity. Except that I'll read you the question or the fill-in, and you give me your answer. You make the card up.
Okay.
First one goes, today on Maury, help, my son is blank.
I'm supposed to say something bad, right? I feel like if I go, oh, my son didn't do his homework, they're like, oh, fine. Like, oh, my son touched his butthole and smelled his finger.
That'll be a good one. What is Batman's guilty pleasure?
Farting under the blankets.
With the bat suit on or without it?
Oh man,
With the
without the
bat
bat suit on, because then that would trap it in. He needs to smell it.
Would it also make it very like, wouldn't it make it like misty and stuff? So it'd be like extra warm and
Yeah, might make a funny noise.
He likes.
Instead of coal, Santa now gives bad children blank.
Snowman poop.
No man poo. That's a good one. I like that one.
Yep.
That should be a card. I'll do this one. This one's better. When I'm president of the United States, I will create a department of blank.
Shut the fuck up.
And last but not least, what ended my last relationship?
Oh God. Loser mentality. Okay. Loser mentality.
Hey,
With that being said, I hope we get to see the Valentina versus I2 matchup. Stay safe, keep training. Thank you for coming on the show. We truly appreciate it. We know you have to get training.
Thank you.
Yes, thank
You're
you.
always welcome to come on to the podcast. It's not the Joe Rogan podcast, but it's a little podcast.
Hey, you know what? I'm turning the Joe Rogan podcast down. I don't even want to go on the show. I don't even want to go on that show anymore.
go.
But I appreciate you guys and thank you for being fans. Thank you for having me on. And anytime you guys want to talk again, maybe after my next fight, we'll.
Sounds
We
good.
normally do it in person. So if you ever fight in New York, we can do an in-person interview.
I definitely I always go up to Garden City and train with the Longo crew. So next time I'm in the area, I'll see you guys.
All right. So Jessica,
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thank you for
Bye.
coming on. It was a
Thank
pleasure.
you.
Jessica, ladies and gentlemen, even though we don't have the audience anymore.
Yay. Bella says yay.
That was a good one.
That was a little bit of the world of MMA.
Bro, I didn't know you knew that much about the world of MMA.
Oh, big time, big time. Benny does too. Benny was very quiet. He just.
If you didn't impress her, you definitely impressed me.
Oh, thank you. That's what I was going for. I wanted to impress you the most. You
That
know?
shit was,
Gotta make sure
Only,
to impress
Benny
you.
was only interested in her workout routine.
Benny was just like, "Yo, what? How many lunges are you doing?"
How many reps did you do?
The reason that I don't really get on these things is because I can't talk. I do this over my phone, and I can barely hear you guys when you guys talk. It's always breaking up.
So
bro,
why?
you need to stuff a headset. You need to,
No,
Bro.
but it's the way that it is.
If
If
you
I
do it
had
on
my
the
headset,
headset, it'll be better for you.
yo, I'm gonna tell you this, Benny. One thing that bothers me, and I don't understand why people
Here
do.
we go.
Why don't you hold your phone this way? You feel me? Like instead of like this, do it like this, bro.
He wants you to flip it to what is it? Vertical, horizontal. There.
Huh?
Wow.
Yeah. Look at how beautiful.
Bro, I don't
Benny-
get how you guys are in the same location.
You're fresh
You can't
faced.
just sit together and do this.
Benny
What?
likes his own thing. You gotta understand. Benny likes to do his own thing.
It'd be great if you could get like 2 couches, sit next to each other.
Bro, I have another
Just
chair.
one whole couch.
Yeah.
I have another chair.
Huh?
I can do it from my couch.
But you know what? I need to get you mic though, Craze, because it sounds, the audio comes out so much better. Like if you wear the headphone with the
Headphones.
mic on it, or actually do it through a mic.
Can I get a Bluetooth? Do they have a Bluetooth mic that I could put on my iPad? I'll be doing this shit from my iPad. That's the thing.
Yeah, you could buy a Bluetooth headset, Craze, and do it from there.
It works with. I don't know.
You could, I don't know, do the the AirPods, the broken Q-tips, do they work with the iPad? I don't know. I found those things weird when they first came out. I thought it was like the regular iPhone headphones with no string. So I was like, all right.
Got the AirPods?
Me, no. I got the Beats. I got the Beats by Dre.
I don't know. I just think them shits are goofy. I don't really ride the train, so I don't really be using headphones.
No, I ride the train, so it's essential. It's like if coronavirus on equipment, that would be an essential piece of my equipment, my phone and my headset.
Bro, should I feel some type of way that she said I'm a breeding ground for coronavirus? That shit.
The Bronx is officially a breeding ground for coronavirus.
Or at least the trap losses.
Damn, Craze.
Me.
Damn, Craze.
I didn't understand half of the shit that y'all were talking about, but it was.
Benny did. Jaylah did.
Jaylah,
right,
you.
I kept along. I catch on pretty quick.
I mean, when they started talking about weight classes, I was lost, bro. I was like 135, 125.
Well, it's easy.
Too many numbers.
It's harder in boxing, right? Because in boxing, there's more. In the UFC, they start at 115, 125, 135, 145, 155. This is just, I'm talking about the men's division. 155. Then from 155, it goes to 170, 185.
Wait, the men's division starts at 15?
No. It starts at 125. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say
there aren't men strawweights. They're men flyweights. So the flyweight is 125.
That's petite.
Bantamweight is 135. Featherweight is 145. Lightweight is 155. 170 is welterweight. 185 is middleweight. 205 is light heavyweight. And heavyweight is anything over 260. I have to look it up.
So after 260 is just a free-for-all?
240, 260. They have a maximum. They have to cut under that maximum. So I think the maximum, like Brock Lesnar, he doesn't cut weight. Some of the heavyweights don't have to cut real weight like
that. Interesting.
It's weird because it goes, you see how it's divided by tens up until 155. 155 is a big gap between 170 and 155. So they want to put in a 165 division and then change the 170 to 175. And because those two divisions, 170 and 155, that's where most of their talent is. That's where McGregor fights. That's where Khabib fights. That's where Nate Diaz fights. That's where Gaethje fights. That's where Ferguson fights. So there's like a lot of them, and they're cutting way too much weight to get to 155, or they're way too small to fight at 170.
You know what's interesting to me is that if you put like 70% of the energy that you put into memorizing fucking stats, you would have been the fucking president of the United States or some shit like
that. No. That's like your dad. Every time he sees me, he says, "Oh, you could have been the greatest baseball player ever if you just did."
My dad
I don't know where he got that fact from.
He doesn't know that. He just thought you.
He definitely never seen you play baseball, bro.
The thing is, he says Rick looks like a baseball player. He saw Rick geared up a couple times and was like, "Yo, this nigga looks like a baseball player." Like,
and he was like, "Yo, this dude is a star. He should have been a star." Podía estar jugando con los Yankees ahora, pero te pusiste a hacer.
Bro, you just know a lot of fucking stats, man. That was my point. My point is, you know a lot of bullshit ass stats about sports.
The thing is, look, it's not just sports. The first sport I really loved was basketball. Loved it with a passion. I cried as a little kid when the '94 Knicks lost.
I'm just saying, you could have been an astrophysicist if you.
It doesn't. It has to interest me. I have to have a passion for it. And I didn't know. I thought it was only basketball for me. Basketball and a little bit of baseball. Then I got into basketball and baseball heavy. Never thought I would ever like football. I was like, that's too complicated. I don't know how that shit works.
I actually like football a lot. I actually fuck with football more than anything.
And then when I learned how the game is played, I was like, yo, this game is insane.
Sports are ruined for me. Like, I can't watch sports, bro.
Why?
I feel like the NFL, I'll fuck with football, and then, you know, like, they be doing some fuck shit. And, like, morally, I'll be kind of opposed.
Yeah, but the thing is, I watch these things for pure entertainment. The thing is,
I'm against supporting shit that I just don't fuck with. So I feel like it makes it hard to support things for me.
I get that. And I support you being that way.
Even like sports, like contact sports, like boxing and UFC, it's like I fuck with them, but I also know a lot about fucking like post-concussion syndrome and traumatic brain injury. And so I'll be like, damn.
Again, and that would go with Jaylah's argument that she was making last week, where you go into boxing, you know the dangers of boxing. So it's kind of like, you know, these things can happen. And there's a lot of NFL players that put in there, because an average NFL career, I think, is like 3 years.
Bro, but
Maybe even less.
the thing about that argument is that, like, you kind of take out the fact that a lot of people that are in the sport, you know, this was like their way out of like their situation. You know, yeah, they could have did this, they could have that, but a lot of them, this was like the only opportunity that presented.
100%. I agree with you.
You
And
look
also,
at Mike Tyson, right? You
the
look at
league
somebody
could have done better. Look, my argument against Jaylah's argument last week was WWE could have done a lot better. You know, NFL could have done a lot better. The NFL players that are retired now can finally get health insurance. You know what that is? That you played football and you didn't have fucking health insurance?
That's what I'm saying, bro.
So, but those issues, right, shouldn't.
But they have a players union that didn't negotiate that.
And that's another thing. Money came into it. Like, whoever was in charge of the players union was probably taking bribes or taking money under the table. It's cool to advocate for things. Like, Colin Kaepernick should be playing in the NFL 100%. He did nothing wrong. All he did was bring light to a situation that was happening, and it was factual.
And it's
Now,
still,
the NFL wanted to spin it, and they were like, oh, he's doing something against the armed forces in the military. No, he's not. The armed forces had nothing to do with that. And then they blackballed him.
we could talk politics all the time. It's just, for me,
But
sports.
it's not politics. It's just money at the end of the day, Craze.
But it is,
money.
bro.
Money. Because you know what? If the NFL would have been like, oh, Colin, you're right. We need to invest X amount of dollars into these programs and start doing things to better. But they don't care about that, because their bottom line, they're all white millionaires except for billionaires, except for the owner of the Jags, who is I think he's Arabic, and he also owns AWE. So they're all white billionaires who are making a shitload of money, and they have these players and they pay them like slaves, most of them. Because now some of the NFL contracts are a lot better, but there's guys that get paid shit money, and they're playing this crazy ass sport.
I don't know, bro.
I don't know if any of them get paid shit money though.
They do get paid shit money. There's guys that get paid shit money. Now, you know, the quarterbacks always got paid. Huh?
What do you consider shit money?
For an NFL player and your body's getting slammed tonight, you should be making over like 500,000.
Yeah, half a million.
That's how much they make usually.
That's now.
Minimum contract in the NFL is about 500,000.
That's now. It wasn't like that before. That's in the last couple of years only. And like the WWE, they didn't have a concussion protocol. They didn't have any of this stuff. Now they do, because they got sued. But that doesn't stop me from watching it though, Craze.
No, I feel you, and I'm not mad at nobody enjoying it or people making money doing it. Like, Evil Eye was saying this. She makes money. She takes a gamble on her body and she puts it out there. That's, you know, this is her way of making money. I'm not against her making money or people doing what they want to do. I feel like if you love the sport and you want to do it. But I also feel like that don't mean necessarily that I gotta support.
She 100% also said, you know, she knew there's a clock. That's what I was about to say. NFL players nowadays, they retire in their prime. It's like, you know, Gronk said, yo, I'm out. Where he's able to he came back, but he did it early. Calvin Johnson retired early. Barry Sanders retired early. Like, they know there's a clock. Don't stay in there too long.
For sure.
They play for the Lions, bro.
Especially short.
The Lions. Shout out to Robbie Robb and his Detroit Lions.
Woo! Detroit. I don't know.
Detroit Lions. But yeah, like I just felt like, I'm gonna say in 2013, I started watching MMA, like for real watching it. I've seen, like, I saw the Brock fight before.
Like,
I saw the Cain Velasquez fight, but I didn't know like the rules of the shit.
Right.
I just saw guys beating on each other.
I've seen a bunch of fights, but I don't know like necessarily every single rule. I mean, you could
Yeah,
see
it's
when somebody
just-
has a good fight style, though.
Yeah, I feel like the last 5 years I haven't really been watching boxing, MMA, or football.
That's
So,
just because you have a specific stance against all those.
I mean, also I just feel like there's certain things about me when I'm watching some shit and then I'm like, I'll find myself having a moment. This happened to me with wrestling too. Like, I don't hate on it. You know how people there's like, oh, that wrestling shit. I feel like it's dope. If people enjoy it, it's dope. I don't think there's nothing wrong with. I just feel like there was a point for me where when I was watching it, I was like, I don't find it. And
You
then
know what I find interesting still of the WWE? Like I watched a little bit of Raw yesterday. And then I saw like they flashed the trailer, Undertaker Last Ride documentary. The Undertaker never talks. Like he's OD super private. And they're doing this documentary on him, like a little series, just sort of like the Jordan series.
It's good, though.
And I saw the first episode. That shit is insane, bro.
The Edge one's really good, too.
Oh, yeah?
I haven't seen that one.
The Edge one's really good.
But that's what I like. I like to watch the document. Like I seen the Razor Ramon documentary.
Those actually are. I'm really interested in watching those shows because those deal with
Real life.
They deal with the era of wrestling that I like is nostalgic for me. Like I was hardcore into wrestling. When we was growing up, we used to watch wrestling religiously.
Nitro.
Which one was
Raw,
good too?
Thunder.
The Triple H one was really, really good. Mick Foley was like really in it. Was really good.
I haven't seen I've seen like the old ones because they started doing these before, but now it's more like they got like actual filmmakers doing the documentaries, and you could tell just by the way it's shot and all that it's a million times better.
No,
and
I mean,
the podcast too.
That leads me to one of the things I was watching during that I've been watching during quarantine this past week was Glow. You seen that show?
I haven't seen it yet, but I know it's about the female wrestlers.
Hey, I've tried to get into it a couple times, and
I think it's pretty good. It's pretty funny, and it kind of like a show about wrestling, but like all women wrestling kind of like company.
Federation.
But it kind of like
it's loosely based on a real federation though.
But watching it made me be like, yo, I kind of want to watch some wrestling now. It kind of made me be like, oh, it made me like a little nostalgic of watching it. One of my uncles was a Dominican, La Momia. Shout out, rest in peace, La Momia.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, bro.
That Jack Veneno on, you should have brought that up to Manny Perez.
Yo, Jack Veneno is. I did. I spoke to Manny about that.
Oh, okay.
And Jack Veneno, like those days of like the luchador.
Jack Veneno beat Ric Flair for the world title in DR.
Yo, that was real.
When he came back to the US, they made another heavyweight belt and they gave it to Ric Flair and they pretended like that match never happened.
Never happened, but it happened, bro.
But that's because they were gonna kill Ric Flair.
I mean, but that's their fault. You feel me? They should have came with more security.
And
there's a dope show on Vice called The Dark Side of Wrestling.
I was about to bring it up. Yeah, that show is not good.
What's it called?
Dark Side of the Ring.
Yeah, on Vice.
That shit is amazing. I saw the Macho Man story, and it gives you like, you know why? Because as a kid, I used to see these men, and I was like, oh my god, they're like heroes, But when you see the reason why I like the docs is you get to see them away for the ring and how they are and who they are. That's why.
Is that when I think back, when I look back at like I've seen like some old wrestling footage, whatever, and I watched the shit that we used to think was cool, I'm like, what the fuck was wrong with me when I was a little kid?
You were a little kid. You had a bigger imagination, bro.
A big imagination. You was like, oh my god. I mean, you can't lie, Craze. Because I've watched matches nowadays where I'm like, holy shit. Like, the shit that some of these guys could do nowadays is insane.
Yeah, I haven't really watched it. I'm going to be real with you. I feel like the Attitude Era, for me is always going to be the best.
I mean, you had the cream of the crop.
And the WCW, like the NWO, like post NWO, WCW, I feel like those those to me, bro, was just prime time. And I feel like I still co-sign WCW that era.
I think if WCW was still around and McMahon never bought them, they would still be going to this day, and the competition would just be. It would still be like kind of like because every week Raw had to outdo Nitro.
Get me excited about watching.
It would that be flipping back and forth like what's going on in Nitro, what's going on in Raw.
That would get me open to watch it again if they brought in another company.
They did. It's called AWE.
Yep.
Yeah.
AEW. It comes on Wednesday, and it competes with NXT. So the WWE, they have a developmental brand. They've always had one, but this one now they put it on TV, and it's NXT.
I'm gonna ask you this: is the storyline still like I'm talking about the days I'm talking about?
They're not the same because now the storylines move quicker. As to like if I had a feud against Benny, it would be like for a couple months, me and Benny going at each other doing different shit. Now it's like me and Benny have a feud for 2 weeks, and then all of a sudden now I got a new feud with somebody else, and there's no like transition to that. And that's what I feel that's missing.
But I think that's what he's saying though. Like if there's a storyline, like what you're saying, like the back and forthness that there was between them.
Yeah,
I think
there
he's
is.
trying to give them a run for their money. I mean,
There's a lot of monologues and dialogues that they still do, and they still cut promos. But
bro,
I feel is done.
Like era of you remember the era of like the Brood.
Yeah.
And that that era. I feel like that era to me.
They won't be able. You know why? Because back then Vince McMahon said he was competing with Nitro, and he told his wrestlers, his talent, what he calls them, you guys come up with what you want. Look at the Nation of Domination with The Rock in it, and then they were going against DX, and DX came out dressed as the Nation of Domination. That was some of the funniest shit I've ever seen. But he was giving them the creativity in the space.
It was racist with
this. He also did blackface.
Yeah.
But I feel you. I feel like it was.
They hired some skinny white guy to be Owen Hart, and they put a huge nose on him. And all he said was, "Enough is enough, and it's time for a change." Or what about what Triple H was dressed as The Rock, and he painted a huge ass eyebrow?
Bro, that shit was terrible.
That's good because he gave him creative freedom, man. He gave them creative, like the Stone Cold character. He made that shit Stone Cold.
Well, I want to see more wrestlers that are like fucking vampires and werewolves and shit like that. Like wrestling, like, bro, we know you're not a real vampire, but like,
bro,
vampires
come out looking like Edward Cullen.
Well, Aleister Black kind of plays into that role.
Bro,
like a wrestler, like a fly out of nowhere.
What I'm saying is like, I would love for them to bring back more theatrics to the shit.
You're 100% correct, but that's the writing team.
That's the reason that I feel like it got whacked, because I feel like they try to make it like too technical, really. I feel like part of it was that it was this big, ridiculous theater that was dope. Like the Undertaker. This nigga is fucking dead or some shit. You know what I'm saying?
They buried him alive.
Like now they have the regular names and shit.
But admit it though.
Think about this. Think about when Kane came back from the dead, nigga, or some shit.
The first time they unmasked Kane.
That's what I'm trying to say. Like, they don't have like theatrical shit like that.
They still do, but it's not at the same level. They do more quantity than quality.
For me as a fan, bring that back. I want the ridiculous shit back. Like, I feel like Mankind was one of the dopest characters.
I mean, bro, he was 3 different wrestlers at one time.
Bro, think about Sting.
But Sting, you know what it is with Sting? He never really talked, and he was like always lurking in the shadows and shit. And he always had the creepy music, and then he had like that crowish feel to him.
What I'm saying, bro. Remember Raven?
Yeah. He still wrestles.
I'm just saying, like, niggas just have ridiculous characters that
and Raven's Flock.
I love that shit. Raven's Flock. I can't even name one of them niggas. But
Billy Kidman.
Oh yeah, Billy Kidman.
He used to do the Shooting Star Press. I was also watching today. They got a show on WWE Network called Ruthless Aggression, and that's basically the era that followed the Attitude Era. And the 2 episodes I saw today was the one on Evolution and then the one on Brock Lesnar, and that's pretty good.
I think when Evolution came in, that's when it started to get corny.
Me too.
That's the Ruthless Aggression era.
Whenever John Cena started wrestling, that's when it started to get whack.
That ass, bro. That's getting corny.
I actually
I don't understand how, like, Cena is one of the. They compare Cena to The Rock as far as popularity.
Fuck out of
But
there.
people don't like him.
I just
That
think
dude
it's
got-
two different
He never
generations.
changed
That's
those
all it is.
whack-ass shorts he be wearing. Like who wears
You
jeans
like the rapping
shorts,
Cena
bro?
or the other Cena? I can't see
Bro.
which Cena.
Who
Don't
wears jean shorts like that?
You're
John
Cena.
Cena dressed like he was Puerto Rican from like 95 Puerto Rican.
That nigga dresses like an undercover cop in New York.
He dressed like a
With the towel and everything.
But you can't see him though. His time is now.
bro. That was when wrestling. That's when I turned it all the way off. I swear. John Cena.
I agree with you.
Oh, he doesn't wrestle anymore, Craze, so you don't have to worry about him. He
Goodness.
comes in every once in a
I
while.
like John Cena more as an actor than I do like his acting.
He's a terrible actor. I just saw the movie where he plays a fireman. I was like, what the hell
I
is
want to
this?
see that. But that's what I'm saying. But he's one
John
of the,
Leguizamo's mad funny in that. And Keegan Michael Keel, what's his name?
I can't wait to see it. I heard it was good. It was funny.
They are funny, but Cena's not a good actor in that movie.
But I think that's the whole gist of like, I don't think he's ever been a good actor. I think he's got that awkward, like.
I think the only one that could make the transition was The Rock, because The Rock has that charisma and that.
We all know that.
And The Rock holds the screen. Like, that dude don't have to say nothing. He's just holding the mic and people are going crazy.
Bro, that nigga one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. How dare they compare John Cena?
At popularity wise, Craze. Popularity wise. So if you had to pick a top 5, Craze, of wrestlers.
Wrestler?
That's not fair.
Top 5.
All right.
Now and then.
I don't have none now, so that's gonna be.
I'm still feeling out my nows. I'm still like getting into the groove of it. I don't know how I feel about some people.
I'm gonna say, damn, that's top 5. So, all right, I like Kane.
This is not in any kind of order, right?
Nah, not in any kind of order. I'm just talking about like weight classes.
All right. Like, that don't exist in WWE. It was just only
Right.
cruiserweight. That's it. Like,
You know what I'm saying? Like big niggas to little. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Um,
I would love to see Craze as a WWE commentator.
Yo.
We should try that one day because I get really aggressive in my commentating. I'd be watching it and I'm
just play a match and like,
watch an old match on mute.
all right. We
can set that up. I think that'd be great, actually. We can just commentate.
Holy shit, he just slapped the shit out.
Did
All right, so look, my top 5. I would say Kane.
Okay.
I'm gonna say Mick Foley just in general because I like all his shits, all his characters. So I'm gonna say him. Damn. I really like Eddie Guerrero. And Rey Mysterio. So that's 4, right?
Ray still wrestles, so that's one of the ones from now.
Yo, did you see what they did to his poor eye?
Yeah.
Oh, Ray's the only nigga that killed the nigga wrestling. So he did.
He killed the dude in the ring, and he's still wrestling.
He did the 619 on somebody, and
He did the 6'9" on somebody.
not bro.
In the ring.
I know.
No, so in the last scoop that I'm gonna say is gonna be Sting. I feel like theatrics wise, like he always. I like Ultimate Warrior too, though. I can't lie.
That's more than 5. But I'm a look. Ric Flair, like
My honorable mention is Ultimate Warrior.
So Ric Flair of the old wrestlers, Ric Flair. For me, it's Flair, and after Flair, it was Razor Ramon.
Yeah, I like Razor Ramon too.
Then became Scott Hall. And then the big 3 in WWE, Triple H, The Rock, and Stone Cold. And from the new era right now, there's 2 guys. Oh, and Jericho's in there. Jericho's my I've always loved Christian.
There's a lot of wrestlers that I would.
And Eddie Guerrero. I love Eddie too. But from now it's Bray Wyatt and Seth Rollins. Just those 2.
Okay. I like Bray Wyatt.
Because his character reminds me so much of, and I think they fucked that WrestleMania moment up when they had him against Taker, and they could have made that shit so much better. But his character is dope, and I just think Seth Rollins is the best wrestler that they have. Him and AJ Styles. I forgot to say AJ Styles is nasty.
Bray Wyatt is probably the only person that can speak on the mic right now.
Yep.
Need some more demons and vampires.
Yeah, you need a vampire,
supernatural.
Benny, what are yours?
Yeah. Somebody that's a dragon out of nowhere.
Benny, what are yours? Let me use the bathroom, and then Jayla, yours.
Oh, that The Rock, Stone Cold, Rey Mysterio, Chris Jericho, and who like my favorite or
yeah, your favorites.
Who I think is the best.
No, your favorites.
No, your favorites.
Okay. I used to really like X-Pac.
He's awesome though.
That was my dude. I know he's a crackhead and all, but like,
because I also fuck with Shawn Michaels. I feel like
Shawn's in mine.
What's yours?
Obviously, my favorite wrestler of all time will forever be The Rock.
The Rock.
I like Macho Man, Mick Foley, Undertaker, Triple H, and then and then Shawn Michaels. It was always like kind of on and off between Shawn Michaels and like Triple H, though.
I feel you. I like the Triple H like Attitude Era Triple H. The Sledgehammer one.
Yeah.
The DX one, the Cerebral Assassin, the Game.
Yeah, like the DX.
What I had. That dude's always spitting at people with the water.
Yeah.
When he comes in, like he spits shit at the audience. Like you spitting at mad people in the front row.
And everybody would sit in the front row because they wanted to get.
They love it. They love it, Benny. They want that.
They want to get spit on. I would not get mad if The Rock spit on me.
But you know what?
I'm not gonna lie. If I was sitting there, I would sit right back at him.
Out of all the wrestlers ever, the one that has everything is The Rock.
Yep.
He could cut a promo.
Yeah.
He's athletic. He had charisma. He was great as a heel and as a baby face. He just did it all. So he's the GOAT to me. He had the popularity. He was able to transition. You know, people are because they say Hogan, Rock, they say Flair, and a couple other people. But
The Rock
is
The Rock has done the transition, like, even when they doubted him in a weird way, it was his own, like, he made it flawless regardless. Like, it's like he wanted you to think that he was going to fail at it, and then he kicked ass.
I like, you know when I loved him the most? When he was a villain. When he was a heel, when he was first Rocky, when he was The Rock in the Nation of Domination, then when he was like in the corporation with the fancy shirts.
With the silk shirts.
With the silk shirts and shit like that. He was always dope, and as a good guy, he was dope too.
Bro,
you forgot to mention, we're living in an era now. You see how in the Attitude Era they had Rock, Triple H, and Stone Cold, and any equation with those three made money. We're living in an era now where they have Becky Lynch, Sasha, and Charlotte, who's the best out of all of them. And I don't think people appreciate that as much. 10 years from now, they're gonna be like, yo,
Right.
that was it right there. That was the moment for women's wrestling.
I mean, women's wrestling is doing really great right now. I mean, that whole Becky Lynch thing threw everybody off, but
pregnant.
and Asuka can't even spit.
Pregnant now.
Damn, I loved it when she spit too. That
Yo.
weird oozy stuff. Ugh. But no, they have a great division. I mean, it's not.
They got a stacked
it's
talent.
legend, but
They just still are a little sexist. Like they don't push the women. You know, they did for like a year and a half. They tried to give them more time, but they were back to.
Somebody is a vampire. I don't want to hear that shit.
There is Craze. His name is Alistair Black.
I want somebody to be a vampire, and then one of his moves is he bites you, and then you become a vampire, and now you're part of his team.
What about teams, yo? We didn't even talk about teams. Like the best cliques.
The Hardy Boys.
the Hardys.
The Hardy Boys, yeah.
Team
Bro,
Extreme?
The Dudley Boys.
I feel like
Oh, you guys are talking about tag teams. I'm talking about
Oh.
like NWO, DX,
Oh.
Domination. The
Yo, I'm not gonna front.
Evolution.
I think DX was one of the biggest and most amazing mastermind plans ever created. They had people walking around saying "suck it," and it was like acceptable. Like they were everything they shouldn't have been, and they were so good at it.
Like if you ask my junior high school self, he's gonna say DX because that was like the time, kind of more. But I feel like if you look at, in my opinion, the best like team shit in terms of like they had the runtime, the most wrestlers, and like in terms of marketing, it was crazy. It would be DX, but then it would be
NWO.
But like NWO, when that shit came out, everybody wanted to have that shirt. Everybody wanted to be down with that shit. Like it was.
Everybody was doing the Too Sweet.
Yeah, everybody was doing this shit. You know, and then the Wolfpack, you know, like the red and black, when they came out.
I got you guys. The best team ever assembled was one that wasn't even a squad on television. It was called The Click. It was Shawn Michaels, Razor Ramon.
TV though, they weren't on.
They weren't on the television, but all those guys, all those teams you're mentioning, it was Triple H, Shawn Michaels, Razor Ramon, Kevin Nash, and Six, which is X-Pac or whatever. And those guys would be on the bus with The Undertaker.
He was on there too?
He wasn't part of the clique, but he would, or like The Undertaker would ride with certain people. He didn't ride with everybody.
He probably had the most cocaine in his fucking bus.
Yo, I can't.
You don't think that's cocaine?
Yo, I cannot. That's the one thing you think about. You think about all those legends in a bus, and the first thing that comes to head, they probably had a shitload of cocaine.
There's a wild story about plane ride that Ric Flair talked about. I forgot the fucking story, but they went crazy, and Hogan had a fight with somebody on an airplane.
Bro, you gonna tell me Ric Flair?
Oh, didn't this dude have a fight on that plane? Brock Lesnar?
Nah, this was before Lesnar.
You're telling me Ric Flair was not on cocaine every single day?
That's just his natural state, bro. Flair had it all too.
He was.
Flair has it all too. He could talk on the mic.
Every day.
He has swagger. He could back it up.
He's always been the swaggiest.
But I only like Ric Flair as a bad guy. I don't like him as a good guy.
Yeah, he was corny as a good guy. He was only good as a bad guy. Like Hogan.
Talking that talk on the mic.
I feel like Kevin Nash was like that too. I feel like when he was a heel, he was always better.
I mean, big guys like that, they're always naturally better to have, like, as a bad guy. So, well, I'll see you guys next Tuesday for another episode. Jayla, are you in next Tuesday, or you'll be broadcasting live from the 5 or Boca Raton's?
No, I'll be in New York City still, darling. We don't go to Florida until Wednesday.
Okay, so I'll see you guys next week. Try to stay
Yo, there's
alive.
a UFC card this Wednesday.
I know there's one tomorrow. There's a bunch of good fights on that card too. And then there's 2 cards coming up. So the one that's coming up on Wednesday, that's on Fight Pass on ESPN Plus. You can see the whole thing on ESPN Plus. It's not a pay-per-view. The next pay-per-view is in June.
I'm gonna be playing Grand Theft Auto. I just started playing that shit again.
Oh, that's great. Thank you for yo, I'm gonna finish watching that documentary on hallucinogens.
Oh, let me know, bro.
Psychedelics, that's what it is.
Yeah.
I want to try shrooms, but I said if I'm gonna do it in the desert.
Justin, are you in?
Sure.
Yeah.
He's not there. He left.
Michael mute, darling.
He left. He disappeared from the. What about client? Oh wait.
Yeah.
Wait. You know what I'm gonna do? Every show, I'm gonna have Justin come on camera and do like Russell Simmons and say, what was it that Russell used to say on Def Comedy Jam?
I don't know, bro. I didn't really.
Martin would always tell Russell. I'm gonna look it up. Martin would always have Russell come on stage, and he would always push him to say something. And Russell Simmons will always say the same shit. Good night and God bless. See you next week.
Yo, yeah, Justin should say something like that, but he has to do it like a Russell Simmons voice.
Well, you gotta do it with the hat, just like here. The hat has to.
No Russell Simmons.
Shout out to
For your Maria crackers. Justin, take us home, Justin. You gotta appear though on camera.
He said no. He said fuck that. All right, y'all.
The hat today. I missed the hat.
Damn. Justin, you're not gonna say goodbye to us?
Oh, you don't fuck with y'all.
Shit, bro.
I'm gonna unmute Justin's mic. Justin. All right, I'll see you guys next week.
They're still in the honeymoon phase in that place.
Mike Piazza, I still love you though.
Oh, wait.